morning, everybody, and welcome to our professional development this morning on connecting math Common Core state standards to all content areas. If you look here, we have our agenda for the day. We will start with a short icebreaker. We're going to talk about some of the rationale behind our goal, give you some information that will help you be able to apply this to your classroom, and then give you a chance to break up into department and curricular areas and come up with some ideas that you can take back to your classroom. Our overall goal for the day is at the end of this 1-hour professional development opportunity, you will be able to come up with an example of a lesson that you can take into your classroom to apply Math Common Core state standards.
You've all received fortune cookies. What we'd like you to do is open that fortune cookie and look at the fortune. You are going to be given a couple of minutes to think about how that fortune relates to an educational practice. And then as a group, you will be able to decide and come back and share with how you think that that fortune relates to current understanding about teaching and children. While those were some great ideas, I think we can definitely see how we can relate fortunes to educational practice. Now, maybe you're wondering, what does this have to do with anything? Think about the Common Core. We're talking about Common Core math standards today, and you're probably thinking, how does that have anything to do with my content area? Well, we had to take the fortune cookie and try to relate that to an educational practice. Now today, your goal is to think about the Math Common Core state standards and how you can relate that to your specific content area.
Why? Because we said so. Just kidding. Our test scores from NWEA and MEEP show low math scores. We need to address this issue. According to the school improvement data, Clinton Community School students need help in math. Our goal is to increase math performance of all students by 5% within the next year. To accomplish this goal, we will improve instruction, look at data, interpret data, and adjust instruction to meet the needs of all students. Today is the first step in bringing Math Common Core standards into all content area classrooms.
In 2010-2011, only 34.6% of students in the 6th grade were proficient on the Math MEEP. Only 41.1% of 7th grade students were proficient in the Math MEEP, and only 27.4% of 8th grade students were proficient on the Math MEEP. In all grade levels, less than 10% were at the Advanced or Level 1 in Math. In 2011 to 2012, only 30% of students in 6th grade were proficient in math. That's down from the previous year. Only 51% of 7th grade students were proficient in math. That's up from the previous year by grade and by students. And only 35% of 8th grade students were proficient in math. That's up from the previous year, but down for the same students. Also, only 10% were at the Advanced or Level 1 in math. In 2012-2013, only 46.3% of students in 6th grade were proficient in math. That's up from the previous year. Only 32.4% of 7th grade students were proficient in math. That's down for grade level, but up for those students in that grade. Only 43.2% of 8th grade students were proficient in math. That's up for grade level, but down for those students. Less than 10% of students are at the Level 1 or Advanced level in math.
Oftentimes when people first look at the Common Core standards, it can be a bit overwhelming. So we were able to find for you a Common Core state standard cheat sheet that was put out by RESA. I think that this cheat sheet will really help simplify the standards for you and break them down into smaller chunks. So that is being passed out to you right now. As you take a look at that, in the middle of the front page are the 8 Common Core state standards for mathematics practice. In a few moments you're going to get a chance to read through that and look at those. First, I'd like to just briefly mention each of those 8 standards. The standards are Make sense of problems and persevere in solving them. Reason abstractly and quantitatively. Construct viable arguments and critique the reasoning of others. Model with mathematics. Use appropriate tools strategically. Attend to precision. Look for and make use of structure. Look for and express regularity in repeated reasoning. Now that we've taken some time to mention each of the 8 Common Core state standards for mathematics practice, we'd like you all to take just about 2 to 3 minutes to read through those standards quietly. We will come back together in just a couple minutes.
Now we're going to give you a chance to try it out. Trust us, it's easy. You should each now have a copy of Bringing the Math Common Core Standards into your classroom. For a few minutes, we will give you some time to look at the standards. You need to identify which 3 standards will be the most difficult to implement in your content area, and also the 3 standards that will be the easiest to implement in your content area. Please use the paper to write down those 3 standards for each of those categories, and then we'll give further instruction. Now, at your table with your content area group, look at the 3 standards that seem like they would be the easiest to implement in your classroom. Choose one and explain how you could apply that standard in your classroom. Please work together to come up with that standard and the brief description of a lesson idea that you could use this week in your content area. We would now like to hear from each group which lesson idea that you have come up with that addresses one of the state standards in math. Please share the standard as well as that lesson idea that you will be able to use in your content area this week with your students.
Those are some very good ideas. Thank you for sharing. In closing an evaluation, please complete an exit ticket and turn it in before you go. Hopefully you can see the connection between Math Common Core standards and all content areas. Your exit ticket consists of 3, 2, 1. 3 things that you have learned in this session, 2 resources needed for math integration across curriculum, and 1 thing that you will implement tomorrow to help students in math. And please provide any other comments you have about today's session or about Math Common Core. Thank you.